Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. Today is episode 8, titled The Future is Now. We will be having Mr. Terry Iverson on of Champion Now. Mr. Iverson runs this, I don't know if it's a nonprofit or what it is, but Terry is the founder and he is the self pronounced machining mentor. We are having another slight technical difficulty. I'm trying to get Mr. Iverson patched in right now. If you could please bear with me. While we do this, today, being the daily grind, as I mentioned in my post the other day, Miss Susan Borchers of Lafayette Engineering, thank you, by the way, has provided Kitty Town coffee. I believe it's Simba's Sumatra. It's Simba's Sumatra blend, a dark roast. So this is going to be the first try of it. If you are unaware, Lafayette Engineering boasts an unparalleled engineering program that will put you ahead of the pack when it comes to getting your first job or getting in your career. Hey, we have Mr. Iverson. Terry, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I apologize about that little hiccup. I don't know what happened, but everybody, this is Mr. Terry Iverson of Champion Now. Terry, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you for being welcome. Thanks for the honor.
Before we get too crazy into the show, a special thanks to Mr. Harold Shook, I believe is his last name, who reposted the show. Skosh? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Reposted the show, so we are going to be able to reach more audience. So, Harold, thank you very much. So
Harold is awesome, Rob.
Oh, he's great. I forget. I think it was about half an hour I spent with him late last week on the phone, and unending knowledge. The guy is great, isn't he?
He is. Some of us old guys have to step up our game, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Not you.
Did I lose you? Engine. Oh, here we go. Had noops?
I'm here.
Okay, so I was explaining to the audience some of the things that Harold and I were talking about, but before we lose you again, how about we start off with please give the audience a brief backstory on you, who you are, what Champion Now is, and what you can do for us.
Well, my name's Terry Iverson, and I've been in machine tools. Harold and I both have been in the machine tool industry for many decades. And about 2012, I founded Champion Now, which is Change How Advanced Manufacturing is Perceived in Our Nation. It's an acronym. And I started talking to young people as a result of Harry Mosier, founder of the reshoring movement. And so just talking to young people wasn't adequate. So I founded the organization, which led to the first book, then the second book, and then now Camp Champ, which is also a very cool thing.
So let's touch on both those things. The books. So you have, you said 2 books out to augment your website and your efforts. Please share the titles and a brief synopsis of each.
Yeah, the first book, Rob, I wrote in 2018, and it's Finding America's Greatest Champion. And the subtitles of both I'm pretty proud of: Building Prosperity Through Mentoring, through Manufacturing, Mentoring, and the Awesome Responsibility of Parenting. And so I tried in my first book to bring value above and beyond just about manufacturing, because if I just wrote a book simply, the first one simply about manufacturing, just the manufacturing sector would pay attention. So I was trying to grab the attention of those of us that are mentors and mentees, and those of us that are parents as well. So the second book, Rob, is a 2-sided book. It's Inspiring Champions in Advanced Manufacturing. And this particular one is the parent edition. And then if you flip it over, it's inverse to the other side. This is the student edition. And so a lot of stories that emulate, written from 2 different perspectives. Some have news stories on one side versus the other. And there actually is some QR codes. Some of us have a little bit difficult time keeping focus. So I have a QR code over here that goes to my website, my Champion Now website, and there's videos on what I'm writing about in that specific area of the book. But this one is, the subtitle is "Discover the Path to a Debt-Free Career," and with student debt being what it is, which is very can be devastating and insurmountable for some young people. There's many of us in the industry that want to financially upskill our new employees, which I did for years. I'm sure Harold has done as well, and others in our industry. Because anyone that's willing to arrive early, leave late, and tell the truth, as I tell many young people, we will bring you into our industry with open arms.
Wonderful. So, if I may share a personal anecdote for the debt-free career,
Mm-hmm.
is when I went to trade school, I was able to. I had a lot of grants. The state of Pennsylvania was very generous with grants, and I think I left college after 2 years with only $17,000 in debt. And between cheap rent and a very good paying salary for my
Mm-hmm.
first job out of college, I was debt free in less than a year. So, any of those listening that are looking to go into a career that will pay your student loans back or get you ahead, it's the skilled trades, just like I said in my first episode. Terry, I don't know if you saw any of my first episode, but it was kind of a call to action to get the skilled trades reinvigorated.
I did see portions of it, and I think one thing that we should mention early in this conversation is we're all still trying to figure out what AI is going to do or not do in all different sectors of our life and career set. And I know there's people probably right now as we speak, Rob, going into an educational path that the actual career set is unknown as to what AI is how it's going to impact that career. And people turning wrenches and screwdrivers and programming code and diagnosing, repairing, and setting up machine tools. It's going to be much more difficult for AI anytime soon to step into those good paying careers. And so I challenge anyone that's young and or retraining in their career to to move sideways into a different career, to really look long and hard on how the impact of AI is going to potentially alter careers that you may think are ideally suited for you.
Excellent. So Harold actually had said that it was originally designed not to replace human workers, but to design to drive data and help in the decision making. So, like you said, the people that are actually turning the wrenches, turning the screwdrivers, diagnosing and doing all of the work at the machine won't be replaced. And as to your sidestep comment about stepping from a different career into this line of work or this trades, is back in, let's see, I graduated high school in 2006, and my senior year, the vocational school that I've mentioned a few times, they had a program where they would welcome in people from any varying career that have either been let go of work or are looking for a change, and gave them the education to step into a high-paying, debt-free career. So there's a lot of ways to get that sidestep for almost nothing.
I agree. And it's just a matter of, there's a lot of, in this country, Rob, I think we've done a couple of things poorly. Our industry has done a poor job of really advocating for ourselves and being proud of what we do and what we have to offer. And then I think our culture has been very naive as to the presence and importance and challenge and excitement that the advanced manufacturing sector offers.
So when I was speaking with Harold the other day, we had a really a vast amount of the talk was about changing the perception and changing the message around manufacturing. And he had sung your praises for hours if he could. He went on about the whole dark, dirty, dingy thing that I've mentioned has to be changed. And I did, let's see, I did episodes 1 and I think 4 from the machine shop that I work in a lot. Yep. And if you guys saw the background of that shop, it's not dark, it's not dirty, it's not dingy. And I have made the caveat that yes, it's a school shop. That's not industry. I get that, but that's not the exception now. It's the rule anymore. Is if you go to any shop that's worth its weight, it is clean. It is bright, well lit, and a lot of them have taken on 5S or Kaizen uh,
Mhm.
statutes where there's really, there's no excuse anymore to be perpetuating that terrible misconception.
Mhm.
And we had also talked about, and to kind of pivot this a little bit, is the how do you get into in your champion now line? Do you get into the internal investment in employees sort of thing, or is it mostly the advocacy of the trades? We were talking about Cincinnati, so he's got a lot of background with Cincinnati, if
Mhm.
you're familiar, and they had he had mentioned an 8,000 hour training program, so that's 4 working years really for
Mhm.
employees to go through to get up to where Cincinnati wants them. And nobody
Mhm.
does that anymore. Nobody, everybody is. And another point I'll make in just a moment is from the ever knowledgeable Dave Winslow that we had on last week. If you saw any of that, that guy is a wealth of knowledge, and he is on LinkedIn all the time with new articles. But nobody does the investment thing. They're looking to hire. They're attempting to hire unicorns. So, Dave, if you're listening, this is a shout out to you. Is everybody's looking to hire unicorns? They can program a 5-axis mill. They can diagnose machines. They can set up and tool machines and run them with almost no investment in their training. And but they only want to pay them, old wages, $30, $40 an hour. And it's instead of looking for the unicorn, invest in your employees. What do you say?
Well, we were such a small company. Our machine tool distributorship had a 94, almost 95 year run, and I was in that for 45. And we always, my father and my grandfather before him, always embraced education and embraced paying for education of our employees. And I think in the 80s, when things started getting to be offshoring, a lot of the apprenticeship programs were being closed. And I think the greed of some of our industry showed in that, the short term thinking kind of perpetuated our country. And Japan and Europe and others look much more long term. And so I've told a lot of people that have worked for me, a lot of people that I've mentored, look, it's hard for people to take shortcuts, especially if they don't know the right way or the long way of doing it. I make an analogy that, young people many times will want to take a shortcut. And as I mentor them, I tell them, I say, look, just do it the long way, do it my way the first time, maybe the first couple times, and then develop shortcuts that are truly efficiency based, not, taking the lazy way out or the quick way out. And I still perpetuate that message when I mentor young people or when I speak to groups of young people, that those of us that are boomers and have been around a while, at some point will be in my fifth decade, and we're trying to give young people the tribal and legacy knowledge that we have, but to cut out early or show up late, those are not good practices, obviously. And there's those of us that really truly want to share what we know. And as long as people are young people are a sponge for knowledge, and are willing to listen, we're more than willing to help and give that information. But be cautious of those people that are hiring for the short term and looking for that unicorn, Rob, as you say. Look for organizations that invest long term, and they want to invest in you. Now that comes with the responsibility for you to be then loyal to them, and
Yes.
and mutual buy-in, and reverse mentoring is another concept that I believe in. So it's a two-way street. I was very adverse to working with recruiters because as much as a recruiter can poach someone from somewhere else, they can also be poached from you as well. And so I've always believed in the farm system and developing young people from the ground up.
So let's speak on that reverse mentoring thing. Am I right in thinking that if you hire somebody on, they can even teach you something?
Yeah, I mean, one thing you'll learn, I mean, Harold and I have been in a technology driven industry, but in manufacturing and advanced manufacturing as a whole is becoming that. But there's a lot of managers and owners that aren't as tech savvy as some of our young people in terms of the generations on the upswing coming into our industry. And so some young people are not embracing the mentoring concept. And one of the things that I try to advocate is that, look, you can also reverse mentor. Um, so many young people, they have their phones and literally out of the womb are doing this on their parents' phones.
Yep.
And so they've forgotten, in many cases, Rob, more about technology advances than a lot of the boomers like myself may know. So there's an opportunity for dual exchange and for a simultaneous mentoring and reverse mentoring component. And I think once young people look at it that way, they feel that they're part of the solution as well as the mentor.
Excellent. So I perused your website soon after we began speaking to each other, and that was a while back, mind you. A link to that is in the video description for everybody, by the way. So please visit Mr. Iverson's site. Now, I can't remember properly, so please help me. Do you travel the country and show off what could be in manufacturing, or is that somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, I travel the country. I'm just getting to the point of exiting my old company and selling our building, and that once I complete that, then I'll be able to do more public speaking, more camps with appropriate funding around the country. Most of my writing in both books centers around Illinois, Wisconsin, and Florida because
Yes.
that's where I've spent most of my life in those three states. I have served on organizations in DC, in Illinois, and in Florida as well. But that being said, the Camp Champ is gaining a lot of attention, and that's something I hope to do more around the country. And then and organizations and associations do have me keynote, and as part of that, they'll buy multiple quantities of books for attendees, and so
Yes.
that's something that I look forward to do more of going forward.
So let's hop on that. Let's hop on Camp Champ. Please, if you could dive in without giving up the ghost, dive into it. What is it? What can it do? What do you do?
Well, way back when I came up with the concept, of course, we both know Dennis and cutting tool engineering, right?
What do you do?
And so this was a January of 2022 front cover. And I challenged Dennis. I go, Dennis, are you so bold to put two young people on the front of a metalworking magazine? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So these are two of my 8 grandchildren. But to answer your question, Camp Champ is a interactive manufacturing camp that takes tabletop CNCs. See if I can show you this tabletop
I remember this article very vividly.
tabletop CNC lathes and CNC mill, although I might turn it into 2 tabletop lathes. And we manufacture pens out of wood. And we make them out of wood so that we don't have to use coolant. And we CNC turn, computer numerical control, CNC computer numerically controlled, the bottom segment and the top segment. And then we have high school students mentor middle school students. And, for every 100 young people that come in, Rob, probably only 4 to 7 young people raise their hand when they say they're either aware of manufacturing or interested in manufacturing. And by the end of the camp, we're somewhere between 47 and 57 young people that are like, what is this? But we rotate to 6 different stations with CNC milling, CNC turning, CNC laser engraving. We laser engrave a nameplate for them. and then assembly, and then CNC indexing for sanding and staining. And
Yep.
then we also, as part of that, we develop a shirt that is of the wicking type material with a cool Camp Champ logo. And then we try to have the school's logo on there. And then, of
Oh
course,
man.
our sponsor in Illinois' case, it was IMEC, the MEP for Illinois. And then they go away with the shirt, and they feel a sense of pride. And then the mentors, we do a hat, similar to your hat with a Camp Champ logo on it.
Yep.
And then on the side, we embroidered mentor, and we want to elevate their participation and give them just one more thing to feature on their resume. And the last thing, Rob, that I'll point out, and I did not see this coming, when we designed the mentorship component with the high school students mentoring the middle school students, a lot of people approached me and said, you realize that this could be a breeding ground for our future CTE teachers. And I thought about that, and I go, you know what? That's a really keen observation. I can't say that I built that in for that reason, but young people aren't used to mentoring, in high school or in their sophomore, junior, or senior year. And when they get a taste of it, mentoring a young person whose eyes just light up when they see manufacturing for the first time, and get all jazzed up, that they like that feeling, that mentorship component, and they it's very possible that they'll choose that as a career, both the mentorship component or teaching component, and possibly with CTE being at the root of it.
So are you saying that CTE could join with you and make this to blow this up, or?
Well, CTE is careers in technical education.
Okay.
And CTE, a lot in the high schools, Rob, a lot of Project Lead the Way and other facets are coming back into the high school sector, where it left for quite a while.
Yes.
They closed down a lot of apprenticeship programs. They closed down a lot of shop programs. And a lot of that is starting to come back. And so one of the struggles we have in our country right now, besides having the young people getting into the industry, is finding teachers that can teach that. And either, at a later stage in career, in retirement, come into the fold, or hopefully some young people leave the industry and seek after that component of mentorship and instruction and teaching the next generation. And unfortunately, in many cases, they take a significant financial hit to do that. And we need to attract more young people as that being their career.
I know that when I joined the ranks at Lafayette, I took a slight pay cut to do so, but I've more than made up for it over my span of time with them.
Yep.
I will say, like to go back to your point of mentorship and how it really, really, really excites the younger ones. Is Lafayette has I've mentioned this class on almost every episode, our manufacturing course, where the students will spend the first half of the semester working on predetermined prints that we know work. So if the parts don't go together, we have to find the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, we actually hire upperclassmen that have taken the course already to help us teach the underclassmen there's certain things of the course, whether it be the knurling or drilling holes precisely, whatever we have open that they can do to help teach their fellow underclassmen. And what really helps breed the comfort of it, we find, is it is their classmates. It is the direct upperclassmen that have just taken the course or taken it before, and they're familiar with the faces, which I think goes a long way to help breed the comfort and the excitement. So it just like you said, when I see these students come in, that a lot of my students come from New York City, Philadelphia, places where they don't see it, and their families may not be in manufacturing. I've had a lot of students that have never even changed a bike tire, Terry. And when I first started on, I kind of giggled because I grew up in a rural farm town where you did almost everything yourself, and if it was if you had to call somebody in, it was bad. And coming to a place where I had students that originally didn't know the difference between a Phillips head and a flathead screwdriver,
Mhm.
and it took me a minute to kind of parse back and but teach them. And like I said, we have when we have our student mentors come in and mentor and teach the next class, it
Mhm.
really gets them excited, gets them wound right up because it's students that have already done it themselves and it's their classmates. So to further your point, yes, the mentorship is a great idea.
That's the whole point of the Camp Champ experience, is that we want the middle school participants, which is in a half day, they're half day segments, one in the afternoon and one in the morning. The middle school students are being mentored by the high school students, and
Yes.
it's the middle school that's going to go to the high school. Okay, so it's a farm system that's in the community.
Yep.
Then the industry members and the technical college participants are in the same community. So we have the industry members mentoring the technical college instructors or students, the technical college mentoring the high school participants, the high school participants mentoring the middle school participants. And so it's literally a communal or a community based farm system. And everybody wins because everybody's talking to their neighbors.
Yes. Now, you had made a point a few minutes ago about the, like I had mentioned, the pay cut or
Mm-hmm.
enticing the manufacturing community to come in and whether it's come in out of retirement or to move from their career to a teaching career. What would you say could be done? Do you have any suggestions of what could be done to further that? And I mean, whether it be up to pay so it's commensurate with their skill, or what have you. Are there any ideas as to further this educational aspect?
I do. I do. Two things. I mean, first of all, funding from state levels on in high schools and whatnot for those instructors is very difficult. For whatever reason, there's a teachers, in my opinion, are never paid enough. To be honest. So, two things that I would suggest is local industry has to understand the industry that surrounds the high school that has a program. They have to understand that maybe they have to participate in somehow having compensation available on an ongoing basis for people that are teaching their future students, right? They can come right out of high school, go right into your company in the local community. The other thing I'll talk about is Craig Sigilski up in Wisconsin with Cardinal Manufacturing. He designed, and I've been sending his brochure around on how to start up a program. He designed a self-sustaining program where there's a manufacturing company within the school. So if you're for example, if your mascot is a bulldog, you might call it Bulldog Manufacturing, or if your mascot is a cardinal, Cardinal Manufacturing
Yes.
for the high school. And so that being said, industry supports that program, that machine shop, basically within the high school by having them make product for their needs. And part of that can be we did a profit sharing program for probably 60 years of the 95 years or more, and we put money away for our employees. Well, if you start a program within a high school, not only can you have it self-sustaining to help support the actual program, but it can also either have a profit sharing component where the instructor benefits for maybe a long term for like a retirement plan or something like that.
Yes.
And I think these type of concepts, I think Craig started his in probably 2008, 2009, so it's been around a while.
Yeah.
But I devoted a significant component, part of a whole chapter for Craig to talk about Cardinal Manufacturing up in Wisconsin. And I think more schools need to be creative in that way to bridge this pay gap that we can't get, talented and qualified CTE instructors for our programs. And if you can't do that, that's a problem. Now, Wheeling High School in Illinois, they actually took their woods. I think it was either wood instructor or an automotive instructor, and came to me as an industry member and said, "Would you allow this future teacher of CTE of manufacturing come into your work location, into your company, and shadow you and spend time bringing them up in terms of technology, in terms of terms and concepts?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd be glad to." So there was others in our industry that did the same in that community. And so that's another way to take someone that's maybe in a program that maybe not nearly as well attended, or have as many people in queue waiting for someone to step in for a program to flourish. So those are two different concepts that might resonate with some of your audience.
I like the high school one, and you had mentioned the state level government has to get involved to put the funding back in.
Mhm.
As I've made mention of it before, sadly, the vocational school I went to closed up its doors, lack of state funding. Um, it is a much more economically depressed area. Let's be real, but there should still be room for that in the budget. Now, have you ever spoken on or contemplated maybe using this same model you just described to put into some college level programs? Kids are always looking to help pay off their college. If you were to do that, I mean, I don't know if it will ever happen, but let's just use Lafayette as an example. Lafayette are the Leopards. So you could use your example, Lafayette or Leopard Manufacturing, and you could incentivize students to come do things, and just like a regular old 9 to 5, help them pay off some of their college. Would that be an option?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all starts in it starts with a good instructor. Craig Sigilski is legendary in the state of Wisconsin. He really is. And then it also starts additionally with industry support. The days of manufacturers and machine shops and large corporations turning a blind eye and trying to find that unicorn, as you put it. I think we're in real trouble if that's what our industry model is to develop talent. But we do need to look at education and morph education into something that fits our needs a little bit more, so because our industry moves so fast, Rob, and
Yes.
and education, to be honest, doesn't move nearly as fast. They don't have the mindset, they don't have the experience to move, and government in general doesn't move as fast. But I will say, I haven't talked about internships, but internships are the way to bridge that gap. Hopefully, I hope to have a third book, Rob, where this side would be for industry and this side would be for education, because the same disconnect between our parents and our children in terms of education and career path, the same disconnect exists between industry and education.
Yeah.
So internships are something that I find very perplexing that more states aren't embracing internships as much as they should. Up in Illinois and Wisconsin, they do a really good job in internships. As I spend more time in Florida, I'm a little bit perplexed because internships aren't embraced nearly as to the level that it is in the Midwest. But there's different answers around the country to that dilemma. But internships, young people start saying, okay, you're talking about advanced manufacturing, Terry and Rob. I don't know if it's for me. I don't know if it's something that I will embrace, or it'll ignite a passion within me. And to that young person, male or female, I say, you know what, get into an internship your sophomore year of high school, and go into a summer internship for 3 months. Someone in your community, and enter in at any point in the office, in the shop, wherever, and find out more, and find out if it will ignite a passion, because it may change your life.
Excellent. So I will say that we may have some in the audience that are helping this mission. Is there anything specifically they could do?
Well, there's several things. I mean, one of my big challenges, I know what I do really well, and I know what I could do better, Rob. I could do better looking for funding and getting people on board to support the cause. But to answer your question, they can donate money to Champion Now, championnow.org. They can buy a large quantity of books or even a modest quantity because we discount. The more you buy, the more we discount. Sometimes 25%, sometimes as much as 38%. I try to sign every book that I send out so that I bring some value, additional value to people that entrust in what I do. Camp Champ, you can fund Camp Champ, where you can either buy a camp totally turnkeyed and bring it to your community, or you can pay us to come into your community and run the camp for either a day, which is 2 camps, or longer. So those are 3 ways: donate to Champion Now, buy books and propagate the message and get the word out on the street, so to speak. We can even put your logo onto the front of the book, so you have some mutual branding. And then Camp Champ, either find funding to bring Camp Champ to your area or buy the camp. And if you buy the camp, we try to brand it in accordance, almost like white labeling, to the organization or the community that is buying the camp.
Very cool. So, Terry, we'd like to take a minute to thank you on behalf of Cutting Tool Engineering Magazine and myself for taking this time to spend with us and propagate this message. If there's anything else you'd like to share, the stage is now yours.
Well, the only thing else that I would say is Cutting Tool Engineering. I would be remiss if I didn't say what an awesome partner that Dennis Spaeth and Tim Spaeth and of course yourself, they're taking the lead in really backing and engaging in the advocacy for our careers. And I think there's more of us that can do more. People can reach me at terry@championnow.org and say, hey, Terry, how can I help? Volunteers are another way to help out. So if anybody has interest, I have all sorts of. I've done many podcasts, and every single one is an opportunity to get the message out there. What's that?
We had a little bit of a hiccup.
Oh, I'm sorry. I try to, through my LinkedIn page, through my Facebook page, my website, I try to get as many times and opportunities to reach as many audiences as possible. And I'm honored to be on your podcast, Rob.
Terry, again, we can't thank you enough for taking the time. We really wish you the best. Make sure everybody you visit championnow.org, reach out to Terry, see what you can do to help, and make sure you give his site a good visit. Terry, again, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Same to you, Rob. Thanks again. I'm honored and privileged to be on your show.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been the Daily Grind for Cutting Tool Engineering. If you notice, I'm not at the Acopian Engineering Center at Lafayette College. We had a cataclysmic snowstorm yesterday evening, or all of yesterday. And so we are broadcasting from my home office today. I would like to give Lafayette College, Lafayette Engineering, an extra special thank you and shout out for this month. Again, Susan Borchers, Communications Director for Engineering. Thank you for that special coffee. It was delicious, by the way. So Kitty Town Coffee. I believe it was the Simba Sumatra blend. Very, very good. I had begun to mention before Terry had joined us that Lafayette boasts an unparalleled engineering course or curriculum that will put you ahead of the pack when it comes to getting your career off the ground. If you wish to be ahead of the pack, or if you have a high school age student or know somebody that does, please encourage them to say Colonel or why not and join the ranks at Lafayette. Make sure you tune in the same time, same place next week, 8 a.m. Eastern, for episode 9 of The Daily Grind, we will be kicking off our milling series for February. This wraps up the Shock Talk series for January. I thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.